But now I'm trying to encourage people to not have a forced pause, but to be intentional about creating space in your life and creating these pauses so that you can shift in a way that doesn't involve so much pain like it did for me.
The learned lessons, right? The learned
Yeah.
lessons. I think it was so significant for us to have this conversation because you entitled this segment The Power of the Pause. And
Mhm,
I would love for you to talk to the person who is afraid to slow down because they're afraid they're going to miss the thing. They're going
mm,
to miss the
mm,
opportunity. If
mhm,
I'm not constantly moving, I'm not doing enough. But you're actually
mhm,
sharing that there's power in that pause. Can you continue to kind of
mhm,
break that down and speak directly to that person who is like, I can't slow down, I'm going to miss it?
mm. Yes. The reason why there's so much power when you pause is because it allows you to tap into a higher source. It allows you to tap into divine presence, divine downloads, divine movement in your life. When we are so busy and we're trying to keep up and kind of like on that, what is it, the wheel, that the hamster wheel, when we're kind of doing that and we're trying to keep all the balls in the air, and that's a lot of our own self, right? That is a lot of us striving to do what we think we should do to make something happen. Well, when you actually allow space in your life in that pause, that place of rest, that is when the real magic happens because that's when you are able to you might even be able to eliminate a lot of the steps that you're feeling like you need to do because you get this one amazing powerful download in the place of your pause. But the challenge is that we're afraid to do that. We're afraid that we're going to miss something. But what I'm encouraging you to understand is that you don't miss what's for you. You don't miss what's for you when you're fully connected and aligned, and you're able to receive from above the Lord. You're able to receive these downloads um, that really are more strategic for you. Because when we are just running, going, constant movement, constant thoughts in our mind, constant kind of bouncing around. That's not very strategic. And I want us to be strategic, hitting the mark right, like just like square right there. And that's what happens when you pause. It allows you space to have that information, to have the clarity. Like Dr. Veirdre mentioned that I'm an artist. When you are so busy like that, your creative mind is not, it's like all over the place. But when you allow yourself to pause and give yourself the gift of pause, that's when creativity really comes alive. Creative strategy. So it's not necessarily just about being an artist, but it is about the way your mind strategically thinks about things and planning things and the different steps that you need to take or the things that you need to be involved in. So that is really the power of pausing. It allows you all of that. It's really a gift.
Truly is. Very similarly, yours was a car accident, mine was physical illness. It was the actual inability to do anything else that I really had to listen to the Lord and
Mm,
allow myself to believe him in what the instructions he was giving me. And that's literally where Living Strong Consulting came from. It
mm,
was actually the season where I wasn't grinding, but I physically had no choice but to actually be still and listen for what it was that is the thing that I'm supposed to become laser focused on. I love,
mm-hmm,
as you were talking, really thinking about sometimes we mistake busyness for productivity, and they're
Mhm.
actually two different things. So when you
Mhm.
talk about a wholeness to
Mhm.
your approach of counseling to the work, what does it mean for you to live from wholeness?
Living from wholeness is making sure that you're addressing the holistic needs of yourself. So your spirit, your mind, and your body. And a lot of times people think of those things as separate, but they're so interconnected. And so when you only address maybe your body, you're dealing with, you're trying to lose weight, or you have an ailment or whatever it is, and you're dealing with that issue. If the spirit, which um is kind of like what I was talking about, how we
Mhm.
receive our connection to the divine, to our creator. If that is kind of off, um, you're not coming from a whole place. And
Mhm.
then when you think about your mind, that goes back to what I was saying about shift your thinking. Like I always say, shift your thinking, shift your world. So if your thoughts are off, your beliefs, what you are actually believing about your body, because you're
Mhm.
working on your body. If your thoughts about your body are off, if your thoughts about, your what you're capable of achieving, all of that, if that's off, then this is going to be a struggle over here. So the whole idea of live from wholeness coaching is to make sure that people are touching on all of those areas and
Mhm.
not neglecting any of them so that you can move forward in wholeness.
Wow. I think about how sometimes we focus on one area and neglect the rest. I
Hmm.
actually had a moment, an aha moment myself. Literally this morning before I got out of the bed, I've had a very hectic schedule in moving, and I've had to get up very early. And people know I normally get up at 4, but I've had to push the clock back to like 3:30,
Hmm.
and in order to accomplish what I need to accomplish before I leave the house. And I felt so off yesterday. I was having all these dark thoughts. I was frustrated. It was just this place of where even it made me physically not have
Hmm.
the energy to move forward. And this morning I canceled a lunch date, like I didn't go out the way I planned for the day. I really just didn't have the strength. And this morning, um, literally the Holy Spirit had this like download in me that you have been getting up early for 2 weeks straight, and you have neglected your devotion and meditation
Hmm.
time. And you're taking for granted that you got you've got all this extra left over from the last time you did it. You're expecting it to just automatically refuel. And I tell
Hmm.
you, I got up and dedicated time to resetting literally my soul,
Hmm.
and it affected
Yeah.
everything today. I was so far, I had energy. I ran errands. I've been feeling positive. I laughed. It shifted everything. And I don't think
Hmm.
people always realize when you neglect a part of it, it really does
Hmm.
shift everything.